Before we get started, let's have a quick rundown on how the playoffs work in Japan. The top 3 teams of each league make it to the postseason. The playoffs are split into 3 stages: the Climax Series, equivalent to the American League or National League Championship Series, and the Japan Series, the World Series equivalent. The Climax Series itself is split into 2 stages. In the first stage, the second and third seed of each league will play each other in a best-of-3 series, with the second seed team having home field advantage for all 3 games. The winner of this stage plays against the first seed in a best-of-7 series. And this is the final stage of the Climax Series. The first seed starts with a 1-0 series advantage, and all games are played at their home stadium as well. The winner of the Climax Series from both leagues advance to the Japan Series and play in a best-of-7 series. Home field advantage switches between each league every year, and this year, the Pacific League will play at home for games 1, 2, 6, and 7. The Central League team will play at home for games 3, 4, and 5.
After ace Kenta Maeda left for the MLB in 2016, prospects for the Carp were very grim. However, veteran Hiroki Kuroda returned from the MLB, and slugger Arai Takahiro, who left in free agency to the Tigers, also came back to the team, which kick-started the golden age for Carp, where they three-peated the league from 2016 to 2018 and ended the 25-year Central League drought. While success in the regular season is great, what's the point if you can't get it done in the postseason? Carp haven't won the Japan Series since 1984, blowing a 2-0 series lead to Otani and the Fighters in 2016, not even making it to the Japan Series by blowing a 2-0 series lead against third seed Baystars in 2017, and getting gentlemen swept by the Hawks in 2018. Times have been tough for Carp in recent years as well, having not made the postseason since they three-peated in 2018. They lost 2-time MVP Maru to the Giants in free agency, and Suzuki Seiya, one of the best Japanese talents of all time, to the MLB as well. Clearly no one wants to play for this poverty franchise, and Carp is simply a feeder club like Dortmund for real baseball teams like Giants and the Tigers, and real baseball leagues like the MLB. With the previously mentioned Arai Takahiro now coming back to the team in his first year as a manager, sports journalists were convinced that Carp would not have a successful season. Little did they know, Arai would lead the team to the postseason for the first time since 2018. Some American players you might know. Matt Davidson had a very underwhelming year, while Ryan McBroom spent most of the year in the minor leagues while being second on the team in payroll. NPB fans would like to thank all the struggling foreign players in the NPB for helping support their claim that Japan is the best baseballing nation in the world. Furthermore, the Carp lineup is looking like a geriatric home, relying on players past their 30s. Former national team stars like Shogo Akiyama and Ryosuke Kikuchi had rather serviceable years, but are clearly past their primes. The saving graces, Kozono, Sakakura, and Nishikawa, who are in their 20s, are projected to be key players in the WBC 2026 team and have had very good seasons, and will be looking to make waves in the postseason this year. For their pitching, Carp have an elite trio of starting pitchers, Tokoda, Morishita, and Kuri, but their veteran perennial all-star Osera has struggled throughout the year. Shimauchi led the league in holds, and Kuribashi is the best Japanese closer. With 2023 All-Star Nick Turley back in the team after injury as well, the Carp bullpen looks very strong. Carp's lack of power hitting stands as a major cause of concern, especially in the high-stake win-or-go-home postseason scenario. Team leading RBIs being just 56, OPS being 760, and no player hitting over 20-plus home runs this season. This lineup struggle for extra base hits is evident, and could spell doom this October. With a 14-10 record against the Baystars and a formidable 44-26 record at home, Carp have a reason to be optimistic about their chances in Hiroshima. However, a 9-15 record against the Tigers and a subpar performance on the road this season means that Carp have an uphill battle to face to reach the Japan Series. All the Baystars needed to do was win the last game of the season against the Yomiuri Giants to secure the second seed. But a 2-hit, 0-run, 9-inning shutout from Yamasaki Iori means that the Baystars have an uphill battle to face in the postseason, playing the first round of the Climax Series on the road against Hiroshima Carp. Baystars fans have been well and truly blue-balled. But don't worry, they've had some W's to celebrate this season. They were Interleague champions. They managed to win the Interleague after winning the tiebreaker over 3 other teams they shared the same 11-7 record with. Congratulations, Baystars fans. This is probably the equivalent of the Minnesota Timberwolves winning the play-in tournament championship, or Arsenal winning the Community Shield. Absolutely no one cares. How does the roster look like going into the playoffs? Last season's batting average king and captain Sano Keita is injured and out for the playoffs. However, Ota Taishi has been doing a good job filling in for him, and his defense is significantly better than Sano's as well. Baystars fans can be hopeful that he will cover in for Sano, who himself had a rather underwhelming season this year anyway. But nothing will take away from the fact that they choked in the last game of the season, losing the second seed to the mighty Hiroshima Carp. Baystars also have a trio of elite starting pitchers, Azuma, Imanaga, and Onuki. Azuma led the league in wins. Azuma and Onuki were the only two pitchers to record a Maddox this year in the Central League, a win with less than 100 pitches. Imanaga pitched in the WBC final against the US and also led the league in strikeouts. And if they make it out of the first round of the playoffs, there is hope that Trevor Bauer will be back from injury to pitch in the final stage as well. All of these elite arms and pitching accolades just to choke in the last game of the season, losing the second seed to the mighty Hiroshima Carp. On the hitting side of things, anything is possible when you have Maki Shugo, who hit .293, 29 home runs, and was the RBI king with 103 RBIs on the season. Out of the three best batting prospects in Japan, alongside Murakami and Okamoto, Maki was the only one that was able to drag his team to the playoffs. It also doesn't hurt that Toshiro Miyazaki, one of the only two Central League players to enter the postseason batting above 300, bats directly after Maki in the 5th spot. Let's see if the 3rd seed Baystars can make waves this postseason, although nothing will take away from the fact that they choked in the last game of the season, losing the 2nd seed to the mighty Hiroshima Carp. Baystars haven't won the Japan Series since 1998, and since then, they've only made it to the Japan Series once, in 2017 as a 3rd seed, although they ended up losing to the Hawks dynasty like every team in the 2010s. The Baystars have an opportunity to pull off a similar feat to 2017, making it to the Japan Series as a 3rd seed, with everything stacked against them. But ultimately, nothing will take away from the fact that they choked in the last game of the season, losing the 2nd seed to the mighty Hiroshima Carp.
Central League 1st seed, the Hanshin Tigers. They're the 2nd biggest team in Japan, and they finally ended their championship drought by winning their first pennant since 2005. It's been a very long 16 years for the Hanshin Tigers fans, who decided that the only way to restore their glory from the past was to hire the man that won them their pennant in 2005. The absolute fossil that is Okada Akinobu led the team to an 85-53 record, and their first championship in 16 years. However, the jokes write themselves. Although the Tigers won the regular season in 2005, they lost in embarrassing fashion against the Pacific League winners, the Chiba Marines, in the Japan Series. After a 4-0 sweep, the total score for the 4 games was the Tigers losing 33-4. Funnily enough, the Tigers won their 2023 pennant 334 days after Okada took the helm as manager. This year, Tigers hope to take home their 2nd ever Japanese series win, the first since 1985. The Tigers have the most passionate and vocal fan base in the NPB, which are just general characteristics of people in the Kansai region of Japan further west. The Hanshin fans managed to vote in their entire team for the starters of the All-Star game, where a lot of the performances of some of the players did not warrant an All-Star appearance in the first place. Here are some of the most notable Hanshin players on the roster this year. Chikamoto is the best center fielder in Japan right now. If Nootbaar was not selected for the WBC, he would be the most likely candidate to have replaced him. Nakano is one of the best looking players in Japan, and alongside his impeccable defense at second base, he also led the league in hits with 164. Chikamoto and Nakano are the Tigers' 1-2 punch, but they also have a duo batting 4th and 5th, Oyama and Sato Teruaki. 4th batter Oyama Yusuke led the league in on-base percentage and also had 19 home runs on the season. And batting 5th is Sato Teruaki, nicknamed Satoteru, who had an awful start to the season but led the league in batting average, OPS, RBIs for the 2nd half of the season. What remains to be seen is who can slot in at the 3 spot behind their 1-2 Chikamoto Nakano punch, and at the 5 spot behind their Oyama and Sato Teru punch as well. For their pitching staff, they have 4 elite starters, Murakami, Otake, Ito, and Saiki, who all had ERAs under 2.4 this year. Their closer Iwazaki also led the league in saves with a 1.77 ERA on the season. Questions remain over the two other pitchers in the starting pitcher rotation, Nishiyuki and Aoyagi, who are bona fide stars and vets in the league but have not lived up to expectations this year and have been hard carried by their younger counterparts in the rotation. They absolutely destroyed the league this year, boasting a winning percentage over 600. They also play the winner of the Carp and Bay Stars in the final stage of the Climax series, and playing all games at home in a best of 7 series bodes well for them to make it to the final Japan series. Not to mention the 1-0 series lead that they start with for being the first seed. If all goes as expected, the Tigers and Oryx Buffaloes will play in the Japan series, which will be a derby of the two teams in the Kansai region of Japan. The Tigers won their first Central League pennant since 2005. Questions remain whether they can win their first Japan series since 1985. Do you think they'll pull it off? Let us know in the comments. After losing Masataka Yoshida to the Red Sox, the reigning Japan Series champions started off the year with bad news. However, they absolutely ran away with the league again, with a record above 600 and completing the Pacific League three-peat. Now, the Buffaloes are looking to go back-to-back on Japan Series championships. Oryx ace Yoshinobu Yamamoto locks up the Triple Crown 3 years in a row, and is very likely to win the MVP and Cy Young equivalent Sawamura Award for the 3rd year in a row as well. He is hands down the best pitcher in Japan right now. After becoming the first pitcher in NPB history to throw no-hitters in consecutive seasons this season, he is going to be getting an insane contract from an MLB team this offseason. Not only Yamamoto, but the Buffaloes bullpen is insanely deep. They have Yamasaki and Miyagi, two lefty starting pitchers who posted double-digit wins. Yamashita, who throws 100 miles per hour, Yamaoka, who throws sliders like this, 2023 WBC Championship member Udagawa, who throws nasty forkballs, Yamazaki Soichiro, who throws 100 miles per hour as well. Yeah, the number of top-tier talent that they have in the bullpen is insane. What makes them even more annoying is that a lot of their pitchers have similar names. 5 pitchers starting with the name Yama, so let me try to break it down for you. Yamamoto Yoshinobu is the 3-time Triple Crown MVP and Cy Young winner. Yamasaki Sachiya is the double-digit win starting pitcher. He is the only lefty out of the Yama group. Yamashita Shunpeita also throws 100 miles per hour, and this year is his rookie season and he posted a 1.61 ERA with a 9.3 record. These are the 3 Yamas who are starting pitchers. Now onto the reliever Yamas. Yamazaki Soichiro throws 100 miles per hour and was selected to the WBC roster. And Yamaoka Taisuke is the 5'6" pitcher who throws this insane slider. And then they have other 2023 WBC national team pitchers like Udagawa and Miyagi, as well as former Arizona Diamondback and veteran Hirano Yoshihisa, who finished 3rd in the league in saves. They are so stacked with pitching talent, there is no doubt that they are coming out of the Pacific League side of the bracket. To be honest, I don't think the other Pacific League teams should even bother playing the playoffs this year. Will Oryx make it to the Japan Series 3 years in a row and become back-to-back Japan Series champions? Let us know in the comments. For anyone that has been a fan of the NPB in the 2010s, you are definitely rejoicing the end of the SoftBank Hawks dynasty. From 2011 to 2020, they won the Japan Series 7 out of the 10 years, absolutely ridiculous. They boast by far the biggest payroll in Japan, 1.5 times more than the big market team in Tokyo, the Yomiuri Giants, who themselves somehow managed to miss out on the playoffs 2 years in a row. The absolutely useless, spineless, match-fixing, air-conditioning using. The 2010s Hawks dynasty has come to an end, and they have been dominated by the Oryx Buffaloes in the past 3 years, who themselves have the 10th biggest payroll out of the 12 teams in Japan. It's nice to know that fat contracts don't win you championships in the NPB. Some notable guys on the roster: Keisuke Kondo batted 2nd in the WBC 2023 lineup, in between Lars Nootbaar and Shohei Ohtani. Having only hit double-digit home runs once in his 12-year career, and being known for his high contact ability and career .415 on-base percentage, it has come to the shock of the NPB world, where this year he led the league in home runs and RBIs. He is undoubtedly one of the best batters in Japan right now. Other guys you may know are Yuki Yanagita, who has been labeled the Japanese Mike Trout, career average of .313 and is one of the greatest Japanese players of all time. He also hit this walk-off home run against the MLB All-Stars 4 years ago. I also assure you that he wouldn't swing and miss on 2 fastballs down the middle in the clutch in the WBC final.
Former major leaguers like Kohei Arihara, Tsuyoshi Wada, and Roberto Osuna are also on the roster as well. All these superstars, former major leaguers, and by far the highest payroll in Japan, just to get bulldozed by the Buffaloes in the postseason anyway. I can't lie to you, even though they're like 2-minute guides, they take so much of my time. The last thing I want to do right now is write a script for the Lotte Marines, like, can't be bothered to do like research and all of that. You know, I'm so sorry Lotte fans, but this is all you're gonna get from me. But yeah, Roki Sasaki, this guy, yeah, the Japanese phenom, he throws 102. Yeah, it's a shame he's injured, but also Gregory Polanco led the league in home runs. Yeah, so that's about it for the information from me. So for my present to you, I'm going to transcribe one of the Lotte Oendan theme songs. The Lotte have the best cheering crowds and best songs, so yeah, check this out.